I'll email you the playlist.
Have an email?
He doesn't have
One
that.
for two.
So,
I have 10-year-olds with emails. That's not that surprising.
Most people have email because a lot of the classroom materials are in Google Cloud.
sorry.
A lot of the materials are in Google Classroom.
You
so
think I
you
would
need
be
emails to be plugged into.
Okay, look younger or older?
Mashallah, you look great for this meeting.
I thought you were 34.
How did you think I was?
Doesn't matter.
Sir.
My opinion.
All right, Bismillah. Let's go. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wassalamu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Allahumma la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal azizul hakim. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا اللهم فقهنا في دينك وارزقنا العمل بما نتعلم واجعل ما نقوم به خالصا لوجهك وتقبله منا يا رب العالمين. Oh Allah, we have no knowledge except for what you have blessed us with, and indeed you are the all-knowing. Oh Allah, bless us to be sincere in what we learn and accept this act of worship from us. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Allah, there's nothing easy except for what you have made easy. So ya Allah, ease in every hardship for us. Moving on today, inshallah, we'll cover two more types of zakah, or the two remaining types of zakah. The first is zakah on grazing livestock. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has obligated zakah on livestock, meaning animals that are considered to be livestock. So not every animal is zakatable, only those that are considered to be livestock. And they are mainly what? Cows, camels, and goats and sheep. Those are the main animals that are, or those are the only animals that have zakah on. The first condition, but zakah is obligatory on them with three conditions. First condition is, let me just finish this one point. That the animal has been, it says over here, reared for animal husbandry and breeding, not for labor or riding. Meaning this animal is being kept for the sake of just either increasing or for the sake of personal use. And not for the sake of labor or writing. Meaning, if someone is using it for business purposes or for the sake of writing, then they are not zakatable. And if a person is putting them up for sale, the purpose is business. The purpose is to make a profit on them. Then there's also no zakah on them through this type of zakah. There will be zakah on them through merchandise. Hold your questions for 1 second. That is the first condition. Questions? I'll take them.
I feel like you're gonna get to it, so.
Yeah. Okay, just ask it.
So there it says grace for most of women here.
Oh, I'm talking about the first one. Anything about the first one? Yeah. Salman, you had a question?
What is grazing?
Grazing is when the animal goes out and eats grass.
So grace specifically means you're not feeding it something, like you're
Yeah,
feeding it
that's the
grain.
point.
It's going out into the land and it's eating the.
So you can use zakat or you can't?
I'll come to that. Just about the first part. Did you cover the first part? That it's for your personal collection, you could say. It's for your own personal collection, or you might want to eat it one day. But it's not for the sake of business or for the sake of, you might use a camel for transporting people or transporting water or anything like that. It's not used for that. Is that clear?
Would cattle, just to clarify, because you mentioned labor, would cattle that you use for plowing fields count under this category?
Yeah, if it was for majority of the time, or that was the purpose of buying it.
So oxen are specifically trained cattle that you use for pulling plows.
Yeah.
Like they're trained, that's the only thing they have them for. So like would an ox fall?
Put that at the question. I'm going to take a lot of questions today.
Wait, so
I'm going to take a lot of questions home because I don't know.
any livestock you own, you have to pay zakat?
If it fulfills these conditions.
Those three?
Yeah.
Okay.
If they're put up for business, if the person buying the cows because he wants to flip them or he wants to make them grow and make them heavier and then sell them, if you want to pet them, that has zakah on it, but it will come on the amount. That requires a lot of animals. If a person puts them up for sale or he tries to trade with them, then it becomes zakatable through merchandise. Okay.
able to? Were you able to find out, like, it's when you sell them? And it's out of the price,
There's a zakat on livestock.
when they're treated as merchandise, is it after you sell them?
It's on the value.
But you don't know the value until you sell them.
I think you have to find out by the market will kind of tell you what it is. I think the market should tell you. Like if I Google right now, what's the value of a cow today's time?
It depends on the weight and the type of animal.
Yeah.
The age of the animal.
Okay.
And it's
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. What's the value of a cow?
Kind of fully grown.
Cattle is cattle, basically.
cattle is not as plural. Cow is specifically female type.
It is approximately $50 per hundredweight. See, so you have to weigh the cow. I need to, and based on that.
The thing is, like, that animal can lose or gain, like,
So whatever it ends the year with.
so it's when the year's over.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, okay.
And whatever the value of that animal is when, let's say that animal dies a day before the year is over. No zakat on it.
So it does, okay. Does the calf for livestock start when the animal's born then? And it's due after it's a year old?
We'll repeat that.
So for most wealth, as soon as you meet the nisab, that amount starts. So I'm just a little bit confused because, like, if it's being treated as a merchandise, it's not in its own category, it's being part of merchandise. So if you have the nisab and gold and silver, as soon as you have this animal, you have to do the count it. So
After a year passes. Merchandise has a year to pass on it.
but the date starts as soon as you meet the nisab for gold and silver.
Yes.
So what? My point is, like, I'm just really tripped up by the livestock as merchandise, because you don't intend to sell the animal until it reaches a certain age.
Yeah.
So does it not count as merchandise until?
Before that?
Yeah.
I don't think so, but I'll confirm. Write those questions down.
Can you tell me the answer?
I'll tell next class.
Okay.
Tell next. Okay. Second is that it grazes for most of the lunar year. Meaning if it's fed, if the owner or the farmer is feeding them, then there's no zakah on them. If he's the one taking care of their food and drink, then there's no zakah on it. But if it grazes on its own, on the natural grass and natural, in a natural way, then there is zakah on it. Then there is zakah on it. And the criteria is, if someone asks that, what if it does both? In certain time of the year, it is grazing, and certain time of the year, it's being fed. We say whatever is done most of the year. Most of the year system.
If they don't feed it and it doesn't have any graze,
They'll
they
die.
just die,
Yeah.
then there's no
That's
zakat.
zakah. Yeah. You don't give zakah on dead animals.
Cause like, what if you're in debt for paying for the cow for like 6 years and it just dies?
It's a different case.
Well, why would you not feed it if you know it's gonna die?
Also, there'd be some upon you for neglecting the animal.
Right.
I have a question.
Mhm.
If it's on your own land and you have to fertilize that land for there to be grass. For the
Yeah,
cattle.
that would be like feeding it.
Okay.
Yeah, they say if it's done by natural rain. The third, if it meets the minimum amount. The minimum amount for each type of animal is different. So if there are 5 camels, then you give a certain goat. A goat is given for 5 camels. Yeah, until the camels reach a certain number, then you start giving from camels.
So if there's 5 camels, you give.
You give 1 goat, which is a 1-year-old goat,
Shot.
a 1-year-old female goat.
What if you don't have any goats?
Then you can
Sorry,
either.
What if it's only camels, you know?
then you're not forced. You can either, let me confirm that too.
Would it not count as debt?
It counts as debt. It counts, but are you forced to buy a goat or not? I can't remember. I covered all of this a long time ago. Yeah.
Also, what can must eat? I'm sorry, it's a silly question.
Same.
Grass, no?
Grass, carrots, lettuce, everything.
Okay, I was asking because it's like investments.
Herbivores?
That leaving your children?
Sorry?
They're herbivores?
No. They're herbivores. Sorry, they are herbivores. Yeah, sorry. Not omnivores.
So they're not ruminants, but they're ungulates. Not that means anything to any of you.
Huh?
There's like four, it chews the food, spits it out. Sorry.
Regurgitates.
Regurgitates and then eats it again.
That's not why it's a ruminant.
There's four, is it the four chambers?
No, it's that has a rumen.
I don't know what that
It's a
is.
specific organ.
Okay.
Okay, move on. Cows, the minimum cows you need are 30 cows. The minimum goat and sheep you need is 40 total goat or sheep. There is a long, detailed list on how much they give on 10 camels, 15 camels, 30 camels, 60 camels, and so on and so forth. But inshallah, if we cover level 2, we'll cover that, inshallah. Yes.
40, like 40 goats or 40 sheep? Or
It
like
can be mixed.
40 goat slash sheep?
Yeah, 40
It
goat
can
slash
be-
sheep.
It can be mixed. So if you have 20
You
goats.
could have 20 and 20.
Yeah.
19 and.
But if you have like 20 goat and 15 cows, if you have 15 cows and 20 goats, then there's no zakah. Meaning you don't mix them. You don't mix them.
29 cows, there's no zakat.
There's no zakah.
Wow.
But if you have 2 cows, you have 2 cows, but they're up for sale or they're done for they're used for merchandise or sorry trade, then there's zakah on it.
Yeah, because 2 cows is like 6 grand.
Yeah,
And it just adds to your zakat?
yeah, actually zakah. True.
Oh, that would be.
Okay, we'll quickly go over earthly resources. I don't know why no one showing up today. Earthly resources in terms of grains and crops, or fruits or vegetables, all of them, whatever is farmed, then or whatever is grown in terms of anything that is edible, then it is considered to be it's considered to be zakatable. When there are certain conditions mentioned here. One thing that's not mentioned here, that it has to be something that is considered as food, something that people eat as food, not something people might use as embellishment or some or herbs, or not even just that, not even something that people add to food. Like for example, sesame seeds. Sesame seeds don't have zakat on that because no one eats sesame seed as food. Yeah, but they add it on stuff, like they'll put it on bread, they'll put it on chicken or on meat or whatever. No zakat spice. Whatever it cannot is not considered food. No one considers red chili powder as food, right? Or cumin is not considered food, right? But if I would say rice is considered food. The scholars differ on wheat. Is wheat considered to be food or not? Because in its by itself, you don't eat it. It has to be, formed into something else for it to be edible.
But it's the main ingredient bread.
Not like I mean like a wheat stalk.
But most plants you don't eat the majority of the plants.
So most grains are like you can eat them directly or a little bit of work on it and it's edible. Correct? Wheat requires a lot of work for it to convert into barley or whatever.
Barley is different.
Is it different than that? Sorry.
How do you not just go through every single food in the world?
What do you mean?
How do you categorize them as what you need to pay zakat for?
We're covering them. Just 1 second. 1 second. First thing is it's measured by volume. That this fruit or this crop or this grain is measured by volume at the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In today's time, people barely sell anything by volume. People sell by weight. But whatever the people of Medina sold by volume, do you know what volume means? Volume is like handful. Is a handful of grapes and a handful of watermelon the same in terms of weight?
Guess.
No. A handful of grapes and a handful of watermelon is the same?
No, watermelon is.
Would be heavier, right? So 1 second. So if you measure them by volume, we would say they have the same volume, but they don't have the same weight.
Size.
Basic size. Yeah. How much space have they or size? Size is a good way.
But nowadays
All we do is weight, right? By the time of the Prophet ﷺ, they didn't sell dates by weight. they sold them by handfuls. They would say one handful of dates, two handfuls of dates, and so on and so on.
Someone by the cup.
Is that by the
They
cup?
scoop up a cup.
Yeah, scoop, they'll do cups and so on and so forth. But they would sell certain things by weight. Certain things would be sold by weight. That's how it works.
I would think they just want to like, not 7 days.
Certain stuff, even till today, they'll sell bananas. You know, people sell many places they'll sell bananas by number, or they might sell by weight too. Second is that it's something storable, meaning it doesn't go bad immediately. Meaning if you can you can store it for a month, 2 months, 3 months. Like for example, you have grains, you have like rice, you have dates, you have raisins. These are fruits and vegetables and grains that are storable. But what about strawberries? You can't store strawberries. Strawberries will go bad right away. And bananas, for example, there's no zakat bananas, and so on. So
Is the stuff on the left stuff you pay zakat for, and the one on the stuff on the right?
That's all stuff like this.
Oh,
we have 4 types of earthly resources. We have grains and crops, we have metals, we have honey, and we have buried treasure.
what do you mean buried treasure?
We'll come to that one by one, one by one. So one by one. So
That's what it is.
Like gold that you found in a chest?
We'll get to it.
yeah. How much? What is the nisab? What is the threshold? What is the minimum you need to have? You need to have approximately 1,350 or 1,350 or 1,350 pounds. 1,350 pounds. If you have 1,350 pounds of that, and they're all combinable, meaning if you have 500 pounds of rice and you have 500 pounds of sorry, they're not combinable. There's different types of one type is combinable, like different types of dates are combinable, but different types of fruits or grains are not combinable. Was that clear? Yes.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So these are, for them to be, for them to mandate zakat, they had to be crops that during the time of the Prophet ﷺ were measured by volume. So why is their weight mentioned?
So the weight is a conversion of the volume. So the volume that the Prophet ﷺ said was 5 awsuq. One whisk is 64 handfuls. Right? So in other words, it's 240 handfuls. One whisk is 60 sa'. One sa' is 4 handfuls. So you have one whisk will equal to 240 handfuls. Multiply that by 5. That way you will have 1,200. 1,200 handfuls. One second, let me finish this. Now, 1,200 handfuls of dates will weigh very different than the weight of, let's say, not strawberries, raisins, for example. The weight will be very different. So they chose what is known as bur. What is bur? Do you know what bur is in English? I think it's forgot.
You don't, okay, you don't have to write that shit. Sorry. It's what, next to water.
So, yeah.
It's more than like a lot of stuff in the.
There was 1,400 pounds.
Yeah, this is for farmers. For great crops. Like the people on my sister's like, one boy have 16,000. That's a lot of work. Yes, there's tax on all that.
But if it's the other way.
That's on my love for you.
Much is an acre?
I'll give the minutes.
No.
I don't know.
How big is acre?
I don't know. Most houses, are like 3 acre plots.
Was it?
It is wheat. Okay. So they had measured how much the weight of 1,200 handfuls of wheat would weigh, and that they made that the basis for everything that in fiqh that we cover is measured by handfuls, and we want to convert into weight. That's how they convert it into.
Can I,
Yeah.
during the time of the Boston, is that based off of the grain, let's just say grain like rice or wheat in the shortage, when it's dried and storable, or when it's still like wet, when it's still like green?
When it's been harvested, when it's been stored,
Those are two different.
when it's dry.
Okay, okay, because that's gonna be, because if it's the, like plants are like 80% water.
Yeah.
So if it was by the
Yeah.
weight, it would be way less.
It would be dry when people usually bought and sold them.
So it would just be the grain, not the plant.
No, so they say that bur is actually not the entirety of the wheat, but whatever comes out of the wheat.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
yeah. How much zakat do you have to give on these grains and crops? If it was if you were the one watering the plants and the trees, then you have to pay 5%. If it was given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you did not have to water it, you lived in a place where rain was frequent and you did not have to water the plants, then you pay 10%. Then you pay 10%. The next one is metals. If a person comes across precious metals, he uncovers precious metals, then he has to pay 2.5% of that if it reaches the nisab of gold and silver. If it reaches the nisab of gold and silver. The third is honey. And we're not talking about some of you guys, we're talking about actual honey. Honey, there is zakat on it, and the Hanbali madhab is the only one that mandates zakat on honey. And it has to be 61 kgs or more, and you give 10% of that honey, whether it was farmed by yourself or whether it was, you found it somewhere. Both scenarios, you have to give zakat on honey.
So if there's just like a beehive on your land and you're like, oh, there's a beehive, you have to.
If you take out the honey,
Okay, so if I leave this beehive.
yeah,
Okay.
then it's zakat.
I think should be
61 kgs.
I mean, well, imagine having to fight the bees for that. Like wild bees are mean.
Yeah, no, we gotta give zakat, please.
It's for the meat.
Buried treasure. Yeah. Someone ready for buried treasure?
I'm still on metal, but yeah.
Okay. What do you need from metal? Are you trying to just write it down?
Yeah.
Okay. Just focus with buried treasure with me, and then you can write down the rest. Buried treasure is something that used to happen a lot in the past, that a person would uncover some lost treasure, someone's wealth, someone's money, someone's gold and silver. And there are two types. Either they had some indication that they were from, they were owned by a Muslim, or they belonged to a Muslim region. Then you're not allowed to. That is not yours. You have to initially go through the process of what is known as luqata. If you found something lost that belongs to a human, another Muslim, you have to announce it. You have to, spread the word that you have found something that belongs to a Muslim, but you don't disclose the description of it. So if someone comes and says, "I own it," you ask them what is the description, and if the description matches, then you give it to them. And that's a whole chapter, inshallah, in fiqh. We'll cover it later on. But if it was from a non-Muslim era, then you have to give 20% of that, but that does not go to the recipients of zakah usually, but it goes to the welfare of Muslims, whatever the Muslims need. Maybe they need roads, infrastructure, restrooms, and so on and so forth. All of that can be spent on the welfare of the Muslims. And there's no minimum amount, meaning whatever amount of buried treasure you discover, then you have to give 20%, and you can keep the rest.
You have a caveat of a question, and you said you're gonna cover it later, but if you can, how would you know if it belongs to us?
Usually the currency of Muslim eras or Muslim regions has something Islamic on it. Like even today's currency, it has something Islamic on it. Or it tells you that it would belong to a certain Muslim country or region. All right,
So if you do find buried treasure.
Give it to me.
Doesn't belong to our region,
yeah. And you give 20% to the Muslims,
and then 80% you
you
keep.
keep it.
Oh, you can give
I'm
it
gonna
to
go
me.
look for buried treasure.
Buy a metal detector when he gets home. Into the beaches.
There was, I think I read a story that someone discovered like this basement under a Hindu, what would you call it? Monastery, a temple, Hindu temple, and it was filled with gold. And the government immediately came in and took everything.
Of course they did.
Yeah,
The Hindus are wild.
yeah, but there's a lot of gold over there.
So if we stumbled upon someone's buried car or, buried treasure in their drawer of their house.
That sounds
That's
an
not-
awful lot like
that's
stealing.
not- That's not buried.
Walking in there, whether
That belongs to someone.
But they moved out.
I mean, you know the previous owner.
So, yeah.
Oh no, this wall was covered up by some leaves.
How many pounds of honey would that be?
Convert it. Use your phone.
Like 140,
Yeah.
My sister's phone.
130, 140.
6.
Sometimes 2.2.
How many?
Pounds is 6 point.
61 feet.
Oh, please, I wanna do this manually. Thank you.
Manually, he said that he could.
382. 0.842.
Habibi, it's 169. Is it open or not?
That means 302
رطل.
grams.
No. One.
It's 169 of it.
32.
So it's 61 kg.
Just do 61.
It's 134 pounds heavy.
Wait, oh, 61 kg.
Is this just still at 130?
Sorry,
Is that just still at 130?
61.
I said 30. Yes, for a few more days. Inshallah,
Oh,
we'll stop here.
130.